Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
Yes, and this is again one that we will love to do because it's dear to our hearts.
And Mike kind of dubbed it Davic Sunday.
Yeah, right?
I like it.
Mantra Sunday, Devic Sunday, and this world is absolutely upside down. That's the first thing to realize. If we look to the Bible, it says, who rules this world? Well, the adversary, Satan, rules this world. So it would make sense that the adversary would use everything around us in order to basically get us to have a mindset that lends us to fall prey to the system that we are in.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look to the major world viewpoints on politics, religion, the monetary system, they're all the tools of the adversary. And the adversary is all about control, manipulation, and making us give our power away.
And I just think this is really actually, the more you talk, the more I'm thinking this is a fun Sunday theme, because people usually set Sundays aside for some kind of inner inspection, some type of something that involves making themselves just a little bit better, something that involves helping other people. So I'm finding this kind of fun. We could make it like the Awakening Sunday or something.
Yeah, that sounds fun, most definitely. And, people have good intentions. I think most people do have good intentions, and they think that when they, follow suit and do everything they were brought up to do as being, things that are, well, things that good people do. People that are, say, church going, or people that, are thinking about others. Like when you go to the grocery store and they ask you, do you want to round up for homeless animals or for, this or for that? And, you say automatically, sure, 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 even though things might be tight for you, that you're just doing something out of the benevolence of your heart when there's a plate getting passed around, and you're just automatically putting money in that plate because you feel like you're doing something that's right. You want to do something that's right. You want to help humanity. You want to help the planet.
Absolutely. And, people genuinely want to be a part of something bigger than themselves. It makes them feel good. It makes them feel whole, like they're contributing to something that's going to make the world a little bit sweeter, a little bit better. So I think so many people come from that space in their heart. It's just that has been kind of taken and redirected by certain entities in a not nice way.
Exactly. And so we're taught, you got to have faith. You have to have faith. And the reality is, you can actually know. You don't really have to have faith. At first, maybe it takes faith, as it did with me when I was starting my meditative practice. Is at first, really, nothing much was happening for several months, and then all of a sudden, I had a breakthrough, and I realized the benefits of meditation. But it did take several months of faith that I wasn't wasting, an hour and a half a day every single day, typically, in a meditative practice. And I didn't. It just took a little faith, so to speak. But faith leads to other things, and it should lead to a knowing. And where I'm going with this is the word gnosis, which the root is an experiential experience, something that you've experienced, that no longer do you simply have to take on blind faith without any sort of evidence to back something up, because something's happened that lets you know that there is some magic in this world, that you are on the right path, that something's changed you in a positive way. And we had some conversations, just some text messages. We were mostly just watching between friends, and one of our brothers, hey, brother Mark in Kansas, he's a great guy that's grown so much, and he was just thanking again for the introduction to mantras, because the mantras have absolutely changed his life. absolutely changed his life. And, from a sense of knowing and experience, because through the practice of mantras, his seeing, feeling, experiencing the life force that's all around us has increased dramatically. And it's not just him. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of people that we have worked with that when they adapt and integrate in the process of mantras into their life, it absolutely changes them. Absolutely. And they will tell us time and time again, I had no idea this was going to help me so much.
Right, exactly. And, but they're definitely grateful that they gave it a try. And I know some people are so busy, especially moms, dads out there with children that are at home, children that are in school. Life really throws us some curveballs and we get busy. And I understand that. And that's why I like to ask people to utilize your timer, give yourself as a gift. And I just want you to see what happens. Do this as an experiment. Give yourself 5 minutes to just work just for you, just on yourself, on your soul, once a day, or maybe once in the morning, once at night. Anybody can find 5 minutes.
So this is our playlist for mantras for activating higher consciousness and healing, and they absolutely do. They're extremely powerful. I was going to put down some links, and I do have a couple links I'm going to give you guys for some mantras besides the ones we have here, though we have pretty good list here, and we'll be adding a lot more to it in different ways too, which I've been working on, and just haven't had that breakthrough yet with how I want to introduce the first one. But there are so many here that are so powerful and transformative. And when I was bringing up mantras, what I was getting on Google search was really affirmations. Because when I think of mantras, I think Sanskrit. And Sanskrit is a powerful language. Powerful. English has been constructed purposefully, and it has a lot of energies associated with it that are not of the highest frequency. Just think about it. Good morning. What's morning? Well, morning's sad. Morning, you're lamenting. You're in a not a very high vibrational place because something has left. Somebody has left. Something has changed. You're sad. You're mourning. Why are we wishing people a good morning? Think about the semantics that we see. You learn spelling. I mean, we could go on and on with all these things that show you how this language has been constructed. And Sanskrit is an ancient and most scientific language of the world. Actually, scientists have said it actually resembles computer programming in some ways. It's very, very interesting, and I'll give you these links. And this is about Sanskrit and the chakras, a precise correlation of 50 letters. There's 50 letters in Sanskrit. There's 50 petals on the 6 primary chakras that lie, basically along the spinal cord and up into our minds, right at the pineal gland, all the way down to the root chakra. Those chakras have 50 petals, corresponds to the 50 sounds of Sanskrit. So when you're doing a Sanskrit mantra, you're literally opening up your chakras.
Right. And that's something that it is very, very scientific. You can bring it to the roots of scientific numbers. So that's really exciting when you start to balance out your energy field yourself through your own voice. Things start to change in your life. A lot of things start to change, and things just sort of kind of run a little bit smoother.
And again, when we're talking about the guides, now we've been able to contact so many guides through the use of mantras is what it's really been about. And even before I met Cindy, I was doing the mantras, and I had visitation by some of the beings that I'm doing the mantras to. And, Cindy is an amazingly gifted channel, and she could channel both trance and then without trance. But even so, without Cindy, I was still able myself to connect with these beings and feel them around me and then actually visibly see them. There were times after doing mantras, I'd fall asleep doing the mantras, And all of a sudden I'd feel like the room was filled with this amazing loving energy, and I'd open up my eyes and I'd see all these columns of light in the room, and usually of kind of a peachy color going towards magenta. And it was just amazing. I've seen orbs of light that were these beings that we can call on. But it's not just limited to the Hindu deities as well. And really, when we're talking about these things, we get such a misperception. And one of the real misperceptions is we see people all the time. Like Cindy has a dentist that is very, very much a born again Christian, and everything's Jesus, 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 and he doesn't have a clue, even though he feels he has Jesus in his heart. And you could see that he's trying to do things what he perceives to be the right way, and he doesn't even realize that's not the real name.
Mm-hmm.
And we've gotten from Yeshua that he prefers Yeshua. I mean, that's what he was called. That was his name. He still will come to people of pure heart, of course, that are reaching out in a high vibrational way. But it's just another way that they've kind of distorted everything. As you see here, the New Testament was first written in Greek, not Hebrew or Aramaic, and then the Greeks didn't use the SH sound, so the S was substituted, then to make it masculine, they added another S. Basically, Jesus was adapted from a 1535 translation that was Swiss. And that's when it first came into public use. Real name was Yeshua, which means Joshua. It was a common name in those times. But that's just part of the distortion that we see. And these beings, they're not denominational. So, they're way above that. Again, these beings are much bigger than we even realize, especially looking through our revised scriptures, which you can't get around. They've been distorted and revised. Things have been hidden because, that's how you maintain control. Mother Mary, along with Yeshua, are beings that we have channeled on a regular basis. She is of that pure, beautiful, divine goddess mother energy that is so incredibly loving and compassionate. And Mary Magdalene as well is another. There's 6 that are kind of our core guides that watch over us and work with us every single day. Yeshua is in regular communication with us as well. But Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, and then known by most as Isis, we know her as Aset, which is her Egyptian name. And then we have also Kuan Yin. And we have White Buffalo Calf Woman. And we have Lakshmi. And so, they go from many different backgrounds, so to speak. But when you get down to it, these beings, they're not even just limited to Earth when you get down to it. White Buffalo Calf Woman, for instance, has lineage that does go back to the Pleiades. So we don't always realize things like this. It's just which cultures they appeared in, and they were known by certain names, but they are not limited to those cultures.
No, they're absolutely not. They're expansion itself. They're all about expansion, and they wish to teach us expansion if we're willing to accept it. In the society in which we live now, expansion is not necessarily something that is advertised. It's more like, okay, this is what you can learn from this book, learn from this box, and it's just safest to never go outside of this area. These beings, they're all about expansion. They want us to explore.
And they're easily and readily accessible even now, but especially when we are in the highest vibrations. When we're in a golden age, we're in a 5D existence. So we're in a place where, you could view it as heaven on earth is the reality. It is the reality during that time. And then as we go down the descending path and we head towards the Kali Yuga, we transverse through 4D, eventually end up in 3D. And then now we're on that ascension path, and we're very close to going into 4D again. at which time then we're on the same plane as the Anunnaki and some of these beings that we had seen before. So many of, say, not all these deities are on the same level as well. And we, use terms that people understand when we're saying not all of these deities. Yes, there is one source. And source itself is unnameable, unknowable. It is pure consciousness, and it's everything that's manifest is of source, but everything that's not manifest is also of source. It's divine potential. Yet these beings are very readily accessible. And of course, we have been in the Kali Yuga, the Dark Age, so they're going to be demonized by the powers that be. And the powers that be, so just use a little logic, right? We don't trust the media anymore. I think we would view people that trust the media as being a little bit gullible, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now many people don't trust politicians anymore. You're starting to realize, yeah, most of them are bought and paid for. But yet they'll still believe word for word the book that the politicians swear themselves in by, right? And, the book that rules the Western mind, when we get down to it, 60% or so of the world follows the Abrahamic traditions in basically a fundamentalist point of way. Taking things somewhat literally, not all, and when we're looking at the Abrahamic tradition, it's Judaism, then Christianity, and then Islam has come out of it. And of course, there's tens of thousands of different versions when you get down to it. But that is your predominant mindset. And it has given us so much of what we see all around us. That whole idea of, I need a savior. Do you really? That sounds shocking to some. Well, why do you need a savior? Well, the Bible talks about original sin. Do you really think that the first female ate an apple that she was told not to eat, and that's really what caused all the problems in the world? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
let's be a little bit more
adult.
Yes. I mean, again,
and we're not making light of anyone's belief system. This is not where we're going. We're just asking for expansion. We're inviting you. We're teaching you how we expand our hearts.
And you have to just realize these are all methods of control. If they make you feel guilt, you were born. You're born into original sin. So, you basically are damned to eternal damnation unless you follow what we say.
Yeah.
That's basically what they're telling you. And, again, people have tried to sell the book Brooklyn Bridge time and time again. Right. Sometimes people will buy it.
So when we giggle a little bit, it's just we understand where those energies are coming from. We understand that they're using it as a method of control, and we have found a new way to explore ourselves. And my gosh, do we want you guys to step into kind of like our realm. We want to invite you to explore the things we get to explore because it's so wonderful. It's a whole new world.
So, you're taught also, that you need a savior. You're taught that, it's not your will that needs to be done. Thine will be done. But really, when you are talking about source, the big God, the big one, not all the little ones, not the Anunnaki and the Gigi who pretend to be source, but they're not. At best, they're 3 and 4D beings that are very, very limited and don't even have the potential that we have because they're so locked into their ways and so locked into this truly draconian system. They can't go where we can go. They're so jealous and envious. Eventually, at some point, maybe billions of years, they'll end up, discovering their errors and start heading back towards true source. But when you're talking about what is source's will, it's just simply love. That's it. Nothing else. And also, love is not restrictive. Love does not define itself by putting restrictions on a relationship. So thus we have free will.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So free will is, it is divine. It is a gift. It is a blessing. And we should use it.
Everything is choice. And of course, the darker entities that are selfish and service to self-orientated, they will, of course, exert their free will to try to take away your free will, or to trick you into giving your free will away, saying, not my will, but thy will. And even when you look to the end of Revelation and you see it says God will be there and his lamb, and anyone that doesn't follow the rules, then again you're going to be subject to all the things we see happening now, pestilence, famine, lack, all these things. That's not source. And source doesn't need you just saying, Hosanna, Hosanna for all eternity. True source doesn't need anybody glorifying it.
No.
That's so anti-source. Source just is. Source is beyond needing any sort of ego boost.
Right. Source is simply there to express whatever it wants to, for a journey to see and know and understand itself.
Just ask yourself, why would source need an ego boost? Because what is things that praise? Praise is just lavishing on to others, or somebody, this worship. Now, when we call out to the devas, are we worshiping them? Or are we simply picking up the phone and dialing to a big brother, a big sister, a mother, as a being that just wants to help us? So, basically we can reach out to these beings anytime, and it's our choice if we don't want to, and they respect that. So if you don't want to, then you don't have to. Of course not. There are no givens. There are no musts. Everybody's on their own journey, doing things their own way. Yogananda, who first brought yoga into the masses, and when we talk about yoga, we're not necessarily talking about hatha yoga, but yoga in general, which just simply means union with divine, union with source. He said you could utilize the devas. Sure, that's one of the ways. You don't have to. You could go direct to. But again, it's almost like, there are those people that can take out a something that needs to be constructed, whatever it is. Maybe a model car, maybe it's a little go-kart or something, and they could just look and just start putting things right together and not need instructions, not need guidance. There's other people that need to get on YouTube, watch a YouTube video of totally putting something together maybe 5 times before they start to actually try to put it together for themselves. They need to kind of get an idea, need a little bit of help here and there. Anybody that wants to, you could reach out to these beings, any of them, because they work together. So it's whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you feel drawn with, and they will help you. And so the mantras are like basically picking up the phone and giving them a call.
Right, exactly. And if you're not finding results, calling in a certain being, then it's easy to simply ask, can you help me find someone that can help me with my needs, wants, desires with this situation? It's all about asking for the universe to help you find your path.
And we were looking at Lakshmi a minute ago, and now we're looking at Ganesha. And both of these are viewed as Hindu deities, but again, they are beyond that. They are beyond really any label. It's just a tradition from which they're most known here on Earth. But we do have a channeling that we're going to share too shortly. But I just wanted to share with you that for me personally, I was working on people and in person doing energy work, and I kept getting people telling me, people that were very highly intuitive, there's this beautiful long-haired Indian woman that really wants to get your attention. And, and I said, Indian as in Native American or the country India? They said, no, the country India. And then it just clicked, and I, did a quick search and said, does she look like this? And I showed them a picture of Lakshmi. There was 3 different ones that came through, and they said immediately, yes. All of them said the same thing. Yeah, that's her. She wants you to accept the gifts that she's bringing to you, but you're not hearing her and you're not accepting the gifts. And at that point in time, I hadn't been really drawn to the Hindu mantras, to Sanskrit and all this. I had been going deep into other systems and, lost in other systems for so long. And at the same time, yeah, I was meditating, but I was doing it more from a Taoist point of view and doing it from a Qigong point of view and not really, looking into the mantras. And Qigong was my primary practice along with still meditation. And so, as I went deeper, I realized, wow, I have a connection to this being. And then, thank you to Cindy and over the years, I've realized it's not just this lifetime, it's other lifetimes. And so, Cindy and I have both worked with Lakshmi and Aset, Isis, and many of these other beings through many, many lifetimes. And you might not even be aware and might not even have a drawing to a particular culture or being, but it could be that there's some of these beings that you've worked with for many, many lifetimes, and they'll pick up the phone right away when you call.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to ask. That's probably the most important thing. And, ask yourself, why am I needing permission to get out of a certain groove that I'm in? Why do I need permission to step in and look at these other systems? I think the whole point is you don't need permission for anything. You are a beautiful being that came from source that is exploring yourself. So if you see a system that does something for you, just know that it's calling you. It's calling you to remember it because you've probably done something like that in a past life. So just allow yourself to explore all of these different deities, all of these different systems, because that's what we came here to do.
So everyone that we've been showing you are beings that we have worked with directly and have had contact with. Yeshua, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, Isis, Aset, Kuan Yin, White Buffalo Calf Woman, Lakshmi, Ganesha, Hanuman. And Hanuman is still basically alive and still able to work in the 3D realm. So it's interesting because there are legends that Hanuman's walked the earth since the time of Krishna and is still walking the earth, and we do get that. That is the case. He's able to bop between different densities. Vishnu, which in many traditions is the sustainer of the universe, and we get that he's a little bit more than that even. And then Krishna, which is an incarnation of Vishnu, but still, in his entirety, he's a distinct being, even though he is an incarnation of Vishnu. Babaji, who is thought to be an incarnation of Shiva, and Babaji is a beautiful, benevolent being as well. Saint Germain, many of you are familiar with. El Morya, Sananda. Now we get that Sananda is most definitely a distinct being than Yeshua. Do they have similarities? Yeah, there's similarities, but they are distinct beings. They're not the exact same being. And, again, that's from direct channeling and communication. And then Sandalphon, who many of you might know, is an archangel and literally, thought to be the tallest archangel in some ways. Sandalphon is interesting because he's one of only two, along with Metatron, that don't end in L. And all the other archangels end in L. These are very, very powerful beings. The archangels are, like Cindy was saying, well, if you saw one, really, you might be a little bit
Taken back, for sure.
intimidated because of the immensity of the being, the power that comes off of them, but they're very benevolent.
Well, yeah, I mean, their skin, if you look at them, their skin is almost like translucent. Their eyes are quite large, so they don't look like human beings as we know them. You would be taken back if actually one showed itself to you. And for many reasons, that's why they don't literally show themselves. They want to assist through energy work and through energy means, not by like showing themselves right in front of you, because they understand that we are here based on our free will, and they do not want to interrupt that.
And the Kabbalah has a legend that says that Elijah, what the Bible says that Elijah walked with God and then he was gone because God took him. And many have taken that to be, and part of the Kabbalah is, was that the ascension? Was that an ascent? Did he ascend? And what we have gotten, because according to the Kabbalistic tradition, Elijah was turned into the archangel Sandalphon. But the reality is Elijah is an aspect of Sandalphon in the incarnation. So these beings could send a portion of their soul down and incarnate. And that's what the prophet Elijah was. And again, there's a lot of distortion because you could say Elijah and you could break it down into El, right, in the beginning, and Yah in the back. And many have taken it to be a statement that Yahweh is the real God, or source, but that's not the case. And he told us to meditate on it. And it isn't the case. The being Yahweh is not source, most definitely not source. And actually, when you look deeply into Yahweh, you don't find that it's like one of the beings that we're talking about here.
No, Yahweh is a bit different. Yahweh has kind of a jagged type of energy.
Yes. So, again, but it's distortion. It's distortion given to us by this system. So we have a beginner's guide to essential Sanskrit mantras. And you could really, some might say, well, how do I reach out to Yeshua? How do I reach out to Mother Mary or Mary Magdalene? And I find that there's more power in Hebrew too. So you could just do something as simple as taking the Om, which is the sound of the universe. Om Shalom Yeshua. Om Shalom Mary. And Mother Mary is good with Mary or Miriam. Mary Magdalene prefers Miriam, is what we have gotten from them. So, you could do just simply Om Shalom and use their name and just leave it at that and just do it over and over, vibrating and feeling the energy tingling through you. Focus on them in your mind's eye as you call on them, and you will make a connection. It all depends on, how much fluoride you've been taking in and your diet and things like that, how open your chakras are. Once your Kundalini is activated, things can't be hidden from you. And that's why they keep people from having active Kundalini, because then all is revealed and you no longer can buy into the distortion and the lies and the propaganda.
Yeah, then that knowing really, really takes place.
So we're going to share with you guys the channeling that we got. And this is from the 6 mothers. That's how we kind of word them. And, often it feels like it's Mother Mary that's doing a lot of the speaking, but, it is all of them. It's Mother Mary, it's Mary Magdalene, it's White Buffalo Calf Woman, it's Isis, it's Kuan Yin, and it's Lakshmi that come through. And so I'm going to share with you guys.
Really enjoy very much these energies that you bestow upon us.
And so what was happening was I was doing mantras, and then all of a sudden, Cindy was basically sleeping, and all of a sudden, boom, they jump in, and they just wanted to come across and thank us for the mantras and sending the energy to them. So, sometimes they come through when we are not sure they're coming through.
We are very much interested and appreciative of your energy. It assists us in doing our work, we are able to work in your life much stronger than most beings that are like you. If you sing these mantras, it allows for us to step into your life and assist you for your highest good.
It is the greatest blessing I've experienced.
It is very much the opposite of the darkness. They will stay close to beings who are very angry or depressed, who are sad, and feed off of these energies. When you are of the light and you are singing mantras, we also are allowed to come into your energy field, but for the purposes of assisting you in your journey and to help you reach your highest potential. Many people do not understand how mantras truly assist your journey here on earth. In singing mantras to certain entities, you are opening doors that would otherwise not be opened. It is a way of exploring your creation, a way of exploring your powerful creative abilities. It is like the wondering of a child when you explore your creative ability. It pleases those of the light. We delight in creation, creating as it chooses, as it wishes. It is a blessing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being in our lives and guiding us. It's lifted me to places that I don't think I could have gone to without this tool and your help.
We do wish that more people would understand our desire to assist in your journey. It allows for creation to explore places that otherwise would not be able to be explored. It changes your frequency. It changes your vibrational patterns. This means that you are able to do things and explore areas in your emotional body that otherwise would be cut off. It is a tool for exploration and understanding and nourishment. The beings that were here on this planet during the Golden Age would teach about this topic often. It is a science to understanding and singing mantras. It is a science that has been lost during your dark age. We wish to assist you in rediscovering who you are and what your potential can be, if you would allow.
Thank you so much for this and all the blessings that you bestow. The dark side, as of course, as I was saying today in a video, I think it was today, that they have everything so twisted that they make people afraid to reach out for the true beings of love and light, that you know just by when you feel them, the love coming off of them. You cannot fake that with a dark entity. It's just an impossibility when you can sense vibrations and frequency.
This is correct. This is part of the pineal gland's operation and job, is to be able to decipher these energies. To be able to decipher these energies brings you freedom. You should not feel afraid when you feel these energies. These are a blessing. These are also very healing energies for your 3D body. The more you can reach these frequencies, the better your 3D body will react for you. When your nerves and your nervous system is calm, it sends out a calling for calmness. It sends a calling to love and to enjoy and to discover what this life is. We do get saddened when people do not understand the gift that they have been given from creation. Many people, most people, choose to have amnesia so they can discover. If only more people could embrace this choice so that they may see all the wonders around them and enjoy all of the energies that they can create as a little child. We do hope that working through you, with you, we can send these energies and frequencies out farther to reach other people, that they might remember and enjoy the purpose for which they came here, to experience creation.
I wish to do my very best to help you in this endeavor, and I thank you for your blessings in helping me with this endeavor.
We should step away from this channel as we are healing entities, but it still does take from her some of her strength. But we wished to come through to you today. Thank you for creating an atmosphere for this vessel to channel us. This is very much appreciated. It is not often that we can communicate in this way. This is not an easy task to create vessels like this and create their surroundings so that they may allow the information to flow. Thank you.
Thank you. Much love. Namaste.
Namaste.
So again, that was channeling from the ones that we know as the six mothers that work with us every day on a daily basis. These are our primary guides, but we have many guides that come and go through, and there are many others as well that come and work depending on who you're working on. You know, because when you work on an individual, their guides will tend to come through as well.
Right, absolutely. And different entities step in for different things. There's entities have strong points in this area, strong points in that area. So they step out and they step into the fields as needed.
Yeah. So as always, guys, thanks for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon, and thanks for also your support with Medicinal Foods. There's a link at the top of the every video, and it does help support the channel there as well. Hopefully you guys will go over and delve deep into our mantra playlist. We plan on adding a lot to it, and in different ways as well. Ones that you could follow along with, so that you could pronounce them properly is one of the biggest worries. But it's more about your heart. It's more about the intention. So let it flow. Let the love flow. Let the positive vibes flow. There's nothing more transformative that I've found than doing the mantras to get you into a beautiful place.
Right. So we'll have a couple different ways to pronounce things, just so you have a gist of it, and then let it flow from there.
Yes. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.